Hey Girl Scouts, it's Kate, the Digital Media Specialist for Girl Scouts Heart of Michigan. And today we are going to work on the Space Science Expert Badge for Seniors, Step 3. What we're going to talk about today is pointillism image, which is basically how photos are rendered up in space via telescope or on the ground via telescope. So let's get started to discover what the universe has to show us.
For most of human history, the planets and stars have only been tiny points of light floating in the dark sky many millions or even trillions of miles away. People began by organizing the sky into constellations, cataloging the stars by brightest, and then the invention of the telescope harnessed the power of light and expanded our view. Some of our space images are a little bit more complicated and take longer. This picture here is of Saturn eclipse. On September 15, 2006, NASA's Cassini orbiter drifted into the shadow of Saturn and spent 12 hours photographing the planet and its ring shielded from the sun. In total, 165 photos were combined into a mosaic to create this amazing image of Saturn, eclipsing our solar system's central star. Modern astronomical images taken by ground and space-based telescopes are made with CCDs, divided into pixels. A CCD is a charged-coupled device, the same type of imaging device in digital cameras and smartphones. Zoom in on a digital photo and you'll see the pixels, but from further away, the pixels blend into an image. Pointillism is an artistic technique that uses small dots placed next to each other to make a picture, the same way digital cameras make images from pixels. It's your turn to experiment by creating a picture using just dots. Do you think the size of the dots matter? What happens if you make the dots all the same size? What happens when you put the blue and yellow dots next to each other to represent the different types of stars?
What you'll need is either a couple pieces of white paper, or like I'm going to use some black pieces of paper, because then there's less space to actually fill in and you're just creating the light. If you're going to use black paper like I am, then you might want to consider using something like gel pens. And I have many different types of colors here that can represent our stars and galaxies and all the things in space. But you can use whatever you have. You can use paint, you can use pencils. You really can't go wrong with however you want to do this art style. Stippling is also another form of what this is called. Alright, these are all the colors that I chose to represent my stars in space.
The first image that I wanted to try to do pointillism with is this star-galaxy cluster. This stellar swarm is M80, one of the densest of the 147 known globular star clusters in the Milky Way galaxy. Located about 28,000 light-years from Earth, M80 contains hundreds of thousands of stars, all held together by their mutual gravitational attraction. Globular clusters are particularly useful for studying stellar evolution since all the stars in the cluster have the same age, about 15 billion years, but cover a range of stellar masses. Every star visible in this image is either more highly evolved than, or in a few rare cases, more massive than our own Sun. Especially obvious are the bright red giants, which are stars similar to the Sun in mass that are nearing the ends of their lives. You'll notice that I decided to add in a few other things too, like this blue star that I can see over here and a few green specks throughout. And I was sure to make sure that I add some red and orange ones for the bright red giants. So you can also try this on white paper with pencils, markers, or whatever you have. This is an image of the Helix Nebula. The Helix Nebula is a large planetary formation in the constellation of Aquarius, and at about 700 light-years away in one of the closest nebulas to the Earth. The Helix Nebula is a large planetary formation in the constellation of Aquarius, and at about 7,000 light-years away is one of the closest nebulae to the Earth. In the recent years, the nebula has been given the nickname of the Eye of God because of its characteristic optical shape. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope that you had as much fun creating your Pointillist image as much as I did. Be sure to keep exploring space, discover new things, and express your creativity when doing this. If you want to keep working on the requirements for this badge, you can place an order with your local retail shop, or you can go online to girlscoutshop.com/gshom and get the badge requirements and purchase your badge. Happy exploring, everyone!